And Jeffrey Moss, who is a friend of Rusty Sneiderman, is joining us by phone. Jeffrey, thanks so much for joining us.
Good to talk with you.
Your thoughts about what you heard from Andrea Sneiderman today inside that courtroom?
Yeah, so first of all, I think she did accept responsibility. The responsibility she accepted is for working with this man, and the guilt she feels and is going to feel for the rest of her life for working with this man who murdered her husband is incredible. What she did not accept responsibility for is for what didn't happen. I've been friends with Andrea and Rusty for almost 20 years. I can tell you that Andrea, if something had happened, she would have told me. I would have heard during her visits to Chicago, during one-on-one conversations. There is absolutely no proof that anything happened.
Between her, now, the jury found otherwise, but you believe still today, as a friend of both Rusty and Andrea, that she told the truth at Hemi's trial and told the truth at her own today in court as well?
Yes, I do. I do completely, because she had no incentive to do otherwise. She told the truth from day one because she wanted to help put Hemi in jail for the rest of her life, which she helped do. I think her point about being attacked by the prosecutor was 100% accurate. Her impression when she was asked to testify at Hemi's trial a year ago was that she was going to help put this man behind bars. And from the first question, she was attacked. Presumptions were made. Statements were said with no fact and no one to, as she said, defend herself. And Andrea is a very strong woman. I've known her, as I said, for 20 years. She's going to defend herself and defend vigorously. I can also tell you that she's a moral woman. When she talked about the fact that there was regret because of holding hands and comments about that, and I saw the jury snickering, it was actually really disappointing. Because maybe to the jury that's not enough to accept responsibility or guilt for, but knowing Andrea for as long as I have, I can tell you she has such high moral standards that she does. Like I said, the guilt she's feeling is going to be with her for the rest of her life, but it's not guilt over anything to do with Rusty's murder.
Jeffrey, the other thing that has troubled a lot of folks, myself included, and the prosecutor in this case, was after the shooting of her husband, she called Hemi Newman 4 times initially, called him before she called anyone else. And then number 2, she's also erasing text messages. Do you have a theory as to why she would do those 2 actions?
Sure. First of all, as a business professional, my understanding is she was told that something happened with her husband. I don't remember the exact term. So she went to the daycare center and she called her boss. Was it to say, hey, I'm not coming in. Hey, something happened to Rusty. I need to go deal with this. Was there a meeting? Was there something else? That's what I'd like to understand, because candidly, if something happened to my spouse without knowing the severity of it, I would call my boss if I had a meeting or had some other appointment that I was supposed to be at. Second, there was no evidence that she erased any messages. As we heard on the stand from the expert who was brought in, BlackBerrys delete messages automatically after a certain amount of time. There was no proof she deleted any messages from Hemi.
Well, Jeffrey Moss, we appreciate your time today. Thanks so much.